Hello, culture heroes. Welcome back. It's another episode of the Monday Minute. I'm Rita Ernst. I'm the author of Show Up Positive, co-author of Culture Impact, and we are talking the culture today. I'm so happy to have you with me. If you're here live, say hello in the comments. And if you're on replay, hashtag replay, we are talking about team cohesion today. And this is a topic that's really been on my mind. I just gave a micro talk that is related to this very topic. But when I think about team cohesion, I have to talk about psychological safety, and in particular, Timothy R. Clark. If you want to follow him on LinkedIn, Timothy R. Clark, shout out to Timothy. He does some amazing research and materials on psychological safety. And in order to have team cohesion, right, we have to have mutual meaning, mutual purpose, and mutual respect. So we got to be working together toward a common purpose. We have to understand one another. We have to have shared language, shared norms and expectations. That's the meaning part. And we have to respect one another. So we have to treat each other as the vibrant, capable individuals that we all are, and find that intersection of our talents and our passions together to create something amazing. But in order for that to happen, people have to have Timothy's 4 levels of psychological safety. Inclusion. I am allowed in the room with you, right? Contributor or learner is number 2. Learner. I am actually allowed to learn, take in information and knowledge. People will share their knowledge with me. Contributor. Now I can be a contributor to the whole. I can be recognized as someone who contributes. And most importantly, challenger safety. I can challenge. And that's where I really want to get to with our conversation today about team cohesion. Do we welcome others to challenge our ideas? You know, as humans, we love to be right. I tell you this all the time. We love being right. It is so important to us. So it can be very difficult to override our internal wiring that wants to be right in order to really allow other people to challenge our thinking. But you know what we see in teams? Teams that challenge one another, teams where there is healthy disagreement, outperform everyone else. Why? Because they have challenger safety. They know that they're not going to get excluded, thrown out, thrown under the bus, or otherwise in any way receive any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Retribution for challenging others around them. And this is where true team cohesion shines at its best. So let's talk about cohesion and how we create our own mindset of allowing us to feel safe and secure even when there is disagreement. Right? So this is going to be the important thing about team cohesion. We are inviting, because you know what? When people disagree, they don't ignore that disagreement. It just settles deeper into them. And it's all those conversations after the conversation that happened where people express that disagreement. So you might as well invite it into the room where you can understand it and appreciate it. You know, my favorite mentor of all time has this saying. His name is Peter Block, and he has this saying: no is the start of a great conversation. No is just a form of disagreement. So we think disagreement is going to be contentious, but if we invite it in the right way, it isn't. So how do you invite challenger safety disagreement in a team without making it feel like it is hand-to-hand combat? Well, here are a few tips I'm going to share with you. Number 1, just simply create space for other people. This is one idea. I think we would be remiss if we didn't take time to identify at least 3 other valuable ideas or ways of thinking about this. So let's just take a minute and think about those. Who's got one to share, right? So you're just inviting the disagreement. You're not challenging what's already been said. You're just saying, hey, let's make space for some more thinking. You know, here's another way that you can do it. I have some thoughts about this, but you know, I really like to hear what you have to say first. So you are spotlighting somebody else and their ideas so it doesn't even feel head to head, and you're listening for intersection between your ideas and their ideas. Here's another way that you can go after that challenger safety mindset, things that you can personally do. You can go to somebody in advance of a meeting and say, would you mind if I put you on the spot to share an idea about X? So you are pre-wiring with them. You know, people don't like surprises. And that is, again, part of our human conditioning. So we don't want people to feel put on the spot. That might challenge safety. But if you say, I want to have a robust conversation and I want to hear as many different ideas as I can, and I think you could get the ball rolling, would you be willing to step out and share your idea, right? You're just bringing somebody alongside with you in what you're doing. So there's so many ways. What ideas do you have? What practices have you used to increase the level of engagement in your team by allowing people to talk about their differences in thinking and embracing those differences as a pathway to stronger cohesion and better results? Because more cohesive teams create better results. Why? Because they are overcoming problems better and faster, because they have this ability to take it out and look at it and go, oh, wait, what is this problem? How many different ways can we think about this, right? That's what they're doing. Now, there are other ideas about cohesion in this little mini book, which you can get a copy of for free if you want it. And I also want to talk a minute about the card deck that goes along with it. Most of you don't have this, but if you're interested, let me know. There is a card for cohesion, and here are some of the mindset questions to work on. So the idea in cohesion is that we are trying to bond and unify. Now, don't confuse. Unify is not the same thing as uniformity. We are not creating Stepford wives here. We are looking for intersectional connection between different ideas and thinking. So that's the difference between being unified and being uniform. We don't want to be uniform. But here are some questions to ask yourself so that you are in a good mental space to be able to invite cohesion through challenger safety, right? So here we go. Noticing, so looking around, noticing who is not getting to speak or who is not really being included in this conversation, and reaching out to them. Now, again, in the moment, they may not be challenger safety. You might have to build that behind the scenes. I gave you some ideas on how to do that. Number two, how can we build stronger relationships? So just contemplating that question. If we had more unity, if we had stronger relationships, because we were able to say anything to one another in a way that is not combative, what could that mean? What would that be like? Start to visualize that, and then think about what are the things you could do that would start to make that possible. When have I experienced team unity? One of the best sources within all of our bodies, and you can do this exercise with others in your team, is remembering. When we remember that feeling, it might have been when you were in Little League, back when you were a kid and you felt so much unity with this team. But if you can get back into that feeling, if you can start to examine that and think about what were the elements that really made that stand out in your experiences, that's something you can draw upon. So getting back into your body and remembering prior experiences, always a good one. How do we turn our trials and our struggles into strengths that unify us? So you know what? Teams are not going to get along all the time. There are going to be times of conflict and adversity, but how do you see those as pathways to unity? How do you not let that blip define the experience of the team, but just be a blip in the journey to stronger unification? Wow, imagine really spending your time contemplating that instead of contemplating your hurt feelings or how to get retribution because you have hurt feelings. And lastly, how do we learn from one another? So, you know, it is so important in team cohesion that there is this constant exchange, that we are both leaders and learners at different points in times, and we have others feel valued because of their ability to contribute, and we are willing to be in the learner seat. We are willing to be in the contributor seat. We can move seamlessly through that. That is all part of that psychological safety that is so important to team cohesion. So these are your starter ideas. We're going to come back here next week. We're going to talk more team cohesion. I'm going to talk more directly about things that you can do inside of your organization. But for now, we're working on mindset week 1. We work on reaching out to others in week 2. So working on your mindset this week. What things can you think about the way you show up that invites more cohesion in, really reinforces psychological safety in your team? Thank you so much for joining me for the Monday Minute. Please share this with others, and I will see you back here next week. Bye.